somebody comes to shiver my wet from home. I started left the gas and home my dirty folks get happy so look at me father there. Kiss me now, the mother I drank the fight the beer. The mother man up the rain, the car and they were out hard. Up the stroke, my parents are first discussed. The government hired a friend to roast, wrapped the lower the folks. Up the all the dogs out the rusty roads. The government factory beat the fire up there.
Before that became the song of choice for vampires in Hollywood, it was an Irish folk song from the 1800s about a man leaving his home in Tuam, County Galway, to seek a new life in Liverpool. We've always been leaving. We've always left. Níl ein tintan mar a hintan féin, yet over the last few centuries, millions of us have been seeking our hintans elsewhere. Previously, it was out of necessity, of course, when in more recent times call it wanderlust, call it seeking better job opportunities, chasing someone, something, some sort of dream that just seemed less likely back at home. But one thing remains constant for all of the Irish who have left. We cannot stop thinking and talking about home. For the Michelamas exhibition, we asked 10 Irish artists based elsewhere to create pieces interrogating this question. But for the rest of this film, it's a compilation of conversations that I've had with young Irish people over the last couple of months about the contemporary Irish experience from abroad. I hope you enjoy.
Thank you for riding the Staten Island Ferry.
What do you think? Yeah.
How's the shorts angle? Are we safe in the shorts?
Oh my god.
Sorry, shorts, I mean my trousers. Professional trousers.
Irish people love Ireland when you're outside of Ireland.
I think there is such a desire when you move away, it's like to recreate yourself.
Yeah, I wasn't that opposed to staying at home.
Yeah.
But then there was something like, ooh, adrenaline rush again to move away.
I think I will leave, mostly because I think it actually is just like a pretty transformative thing to do for someone to go live somewhere else.
So much freedom, so much liberation when you move away, and you can just like restructure like your whole personality, and you can like, it's just so like pliable.
I just think you grow a lot for some reason when you just kind of have to like fend for yourself.
It's such a leap out of your comfort zone, and like I suppose that's like the discomfort that like going through that is what makes you grow as well by moving somewhere.
I'd been living at home and I wanted to move out, and I thought, if I was going to move out, why wouldn't I move out and go to Australia rather than stay in Dublin?
I'd never lived abroad, so I wanted to, go abroad, do something else. Yeah, I think there's like a definite feeling that there's more out there.
It just felt like the last opportunity to really mess around before I'd be starting my like serious career.
In New York, everything is so fast-paced, and every single day is something new. So being here in my 20s, I really feel like that energy and that constant shift, that I can change who I want to be or what I want to do every single day. But in Ireland, because everything is much slower at this point in my life, it doesn't really make sense for me to be there.
Something that bothered me for a really long time is that I never really felt like I had made an active choice in a way. Like it was something, not feeling like I never made a choice, it was never forced on me at all, but like that I was just following this path that just kind of happened.
I also think when I look back now, I'm so happy I went. I'm so glad I did. But I'm kind of thinking, is it because I said it out loud that I had to kind of follow through with it?
It's like a mission. Like moving away, it's like a whole like episode. It's like, I feel like it's a narrative. It's kind of like a story that you're living as well. Like you're telling like the story about yourself.
I kind of liked a little bit of the size and the anonymity, and there's a certain freedom in sort of feeling a bit unknown, feeling like you can just wander around and be yourself and not sort of, a bit less judged.
Yeah, I mean, I think you even said that to me before. Like when I came back to Venice, you were back from Venice, you were like, each case, like you're a bit of a different person, whatever. And like I think in like the space of 2 years, I'm like way more sure of myself. And maybe the same thing would have happened if I stayed at home, but I'm not sure if it would have happened as fast.
Yeah.
And sometimes it felt like silly to be planning on going home when I live in this like amazing place and have all these amazing friends. And then other times I was really feeling like missing home. So there was still that tension. I've had so much fun here, and it's going to be really sad to not be in that stage of my life anymore.
I remember leaving Ireland for my studies when I was 18, and like the summer before, being on holiday with my family and like talking about it, and I was like really excited. When it came to like actually leaving, I was like really heartbroken as well. I don't know if I'll ever come back. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. There's definitely part of me that wants to.
I have a good line on that here. I miss it while having no desire to trade places with my former self. I am, after all, an immigrant by choice. I am not an immigrant by necessity. What does that mean about my relationship with home? A place that forms so much of who I am, that I turn my back on while proudly claiming it as my own to others. That is the paradox of loving the romanticized version of something and not its reality.
So I didn't cry at all when I speaking to anyone, which I felt kind of bad about, because a couple of my friends cried and my family cried, but then I never felt it in the exact moment. But then it was then when I was actually in Australia and missing people, that was when I really felt it. A lot of excitement and a lot of fear in terms of getting a place, because that was difficult. Getting a job was difficult. So I didn't have time so much to think about other things.
How long do you think it took before kind of sorting out the job, sorting out apartment, sorting out like your new life there, settling in? How long before like thoughts started creeping in of like missing home, do you think?
Yeah, I think it is pretty clearly like I went in October as Christmas, like absolutely completely.
I miss my family and my dog a lot. You are so far from home. There's a 5-hour time difference. It doesn't seem like much, but you know, if you want to call either your parents to give them some news and it's late at night here, you have to wait until the morning. It's not going to happen. So I miss things like that.
It's pretty far, and the time difference is definitely something I struggled with as well, especially at the beginning when I was like, I'm the type of person that my mind just goes like 90 at night when everyone else is asleep. It's always when I do the most of my thinking, so I had a few like sleepless nights, I suppose, thinking, what I'm doing, is it right?
And the first week or so, the first few months actually, I had insomnia. I couldn't sleep. I slept pretty badly. I would sleep only like a few hours a night, and I'd be so like exhausted in the day, and I was like having real itches with it. And then the only way I fixed it was I started writing down in a journal. I started like writing about just kind of like stream of consciousness, like scrambled thoughts and everything, but it was the only thing that really fixed it.
I think I was afraid of how big it was going to be, that it might be very intimidating, very overwhelming, kind of a little bit lonely at the start. I think that was kind of the case, especially the first couple of months. It was a pretty big adjustment.
Every now and then I do think, like I'm aware of the fact that I've been away and that I've missed some really important things in a bunch of people's lives, and people have missed important things in my life. Like that is on my mind, and I'm aware of that.
Like when you're at home, it's just like so familiar, do you know? Like you just feel like at ease. And I just find it like comforting to be at home and like be near my friends and be near people. And genuinely I do love, like my favourite thing about Dublin is the fact that like pretty much everyone I've ever known, well, less people now because everyone's leaving, but pretty much everyone that I've ever known is here, or like the likes of yourself, you all come back and stuff like that.
I think New York taught me a lot in that I feel like in Ireland we definitely nurture youth a lot more, whereas here you're it's really every man out for himself. Like when I first came over, I was 24, and definitely I was expected to act like I was like 30 all of a sudden. I definitely think New York forced me to grow up more.
I was so excited to go to Venice. Like I was so excited to live there. I was happy to be on my own there. Maybe I hadn't spent much time on my own before that. I feel like if I just like disappeared at home in Dublin for like, like a day, like go out for the day, everyone would be like, is everything like okay? Like what are you doing?
So many texts,
so many texts like, hey, just where are you? You're not at home.
Yeah.
So like that freedom, I guess, is a cool thing.
You get the chance to kind of go back to Dublin often enough and stay connected with your life there. Do you notice many changes when you go back each time?
Nothing really seems to have changed that much when I go home.
You just see back home, and you see like at Christmas is just, there's obviously all your friends, and then there's the friends who have also gone away, who are coming back, who like come back for Christmas. Everyone is just there. Everyone's going out. Everyone's hanging out. It's just such a nice atmosphere. Everyone, like, you see, I go on Instagram and see stories, people in town, and just everyone congregating in the same places and stuff.
We were trying to create a Christmas as good as we could, while also like replicating the things that we do at home. For example, like 12 pubs. And we'd do 12 pubs, and then we'd see again people's stories or something of them doing 12 pubs at home, and we'd kind of be comparing our 12 pubs and say, oh, they look like they're having such a great time. Like the picture of you guys having your Guinness pint in the toilet. The bathroom Guinness.
Pop up on screen.
Yeah. Insert down below. We saw that you'd all were doing your 12 pubs and how much crack you had, and you were just all together with all your friends. But it just didn't feel like Christmas. But that's okay. I wasn't too upset by the fact that we were spending Christmas away.
I'd only been thinking of what like Australia had over Ireland, really, and then that was like, oh no, that's what Ireland has, is that like everyone that I know is there, all my friends are there, and everyone just being together, and me not being a part of that. And there was that immediate thing around Christmas of being like, oh, I couldn't do this forever, like whatever. I wasn't deciding to go home right then and there, obviously, but it was that like, oh yeah, like this is not where I'm going to be for my future. I couldn't be away from this for forever.
I mean, when I speak to friends on the phone, often not that much has changed from them back home from a year ago. I think I've been having a lot of fun to be thinking too much about things back home.
I think most of my friends at home I think of as like really permanent, really well-established friends and connections. So usually I think everything can withstand a year of being away.
There's obviously things that I'm not as involved with, which I've got to like accept. Like there's things that'll happen in my friends' lives. Like the actual city itself in my head hasn't really changed that much. My like desire to go home, it hasn't really stopped me from doing anything or like stopped me living the life here that I want to live now. And I actually think it's more comforting, because anything that goes wrong here, it just feels like it's not a forever thing. It gives me more power just to do things now. Yeah. And like if things happen and like they work out, then I've done them.
Yeah, I feel like that's what youth should be like.
Yeah.
I also find it kind of weird that like people don't feel like that.
Yeah.
It should be it should be messy. It should be like open-ended and like,
yeah,
it's not linear.
It's
kind of all over
that I'm doing now.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people get caught up on social media as well with this like really negative attitude towards Ireland. Mm-hmm. And like, Ireland has its problems, everywhere does. Housing's ridiculous, like you name it, we can go on and on. But like, there's a lot that's really good about it. And we wouldn't be where we are, and the good things that happened in our lives wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the environment that like we grew up in. So it kind of annoys me when people are just kind of like, fuck Ireland, I have to leave.
I think there's kind of a funny knock-on effect that happens where there's not as many young people in Ireland as there are older people. I think that it's kind of easy to ignore people in their like 20s. It's easier to just focus on the majority, which is older people or families, and then that means that young people don't want to stay in Ireland, they want to go abroad and then come back. But then there's fewer young people in Ireland, so they still don't feel like they have to provide those facilities. So then it's the cycle just continues.
I guess when I went over, I kind of looked at it and I went like, Australia is like, it's cheaper than Dublin. It's a much bigger place, much more of a major city, I would say. beaches, you know, sunny weather and all this, and you look at it like, you know, factually, and I kind of went like, actually wouldn't make any sense for me to stay in Dublin. And then you realise like, oh, like that, it's all like secondary to where's, like literally just where's my family and where's my friends. Like that, there can be all of those things that are true, but it can't hold a candle or whatever. Like it just doesn't, you know?
Yeah.
You know, every time I'd end a phone call with my mum or dad, they'd say, oh, you're just so far, it's just the distance. I wish you could be a bit closer. And I would just kind of be short, and I'd say, yeah, it's fine, I'll be home soon. Yeah. It's fine, life is short.
Dublin's nice, but I don't think there's the same sense of energy, the same sense of creativity, even like the same, like, I don't know, sense of like ambition. Like so many people are like coming to New York to try and really like make it big in whatever their field is. And I don't know, yeah, just a creative, fun place to be. And I think I'll definitely miss some of that energy. I think I felt more confident, more extroverted, more able to be myself here. And I'm kind of worried that if you go back, you maybe like lose some of that it's not necessarily a life-changing experience, that it's just sort of a brief like escape from sort of routine and normality, and that sort of 6 months or a year later or 2 years later, you're kind of back to just being the same. I think that's something that would worry me, and I sort of hope it's not the case.
I don't think that you really notice that much when people are gone. The idea of people leaving I find much more scary than when they're actually gone. Like I get quite sad thinking of like people there now who are leaving. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to hang out with them and do the stuff that we do. But you don't really notice it that much when they're gone, but you do notice them when they're back. Like how much fun you guys have, and like you're just happy to see them and stuff like that. You don't feel their absence as much as you feel what they bring to the table when they are back.
In my head, you know, a year was doing it properly, and like going back before then was like failing or like admitting I'd failed or something. But I just had that nagging thing in the back of my mind of kind of just like, I kind of want to go home. I feel like I do have clarity on the situation in terms of leaving, being like, seeing all these issues that I have with Dublin. Well, is Dublin the place for me? And I feel like I do have clarity of just like, yeah.
I left Ireland thinking like, oh, Ireland's crap. There's nothing to do. Like, I'm bored. Like, oh, just get me to Australia now. And then when I came back, I obviously had to kind of learn to love it, because I didn't know how long I'd be back home for. But I love Dublin. I love Ireland. Can't get me out of it now. I always knew I'd come back anyways. It just kind of made me realise a couple of things coming back, that, God, the life I have in Dublin actually isn't so bad after all.
Wait, I want to do a final question. I want to do
I can hold it.
Of these months that we've kind of put into thinking about this theme of Irish emigration, what kind of final questions that you're left with? I think from all these interviews that like a lot of criticism for either someone who didn't emigrate, who has critiques for people who have left, people who did emigrate who have critiques for people who decided to stay and chose a more comfortable, easier life, maybe comes from like places of insecurity, of like wondering of what this alternate life path would be for you had you done it. And I think at the end of the day, no one has it figured out. We're all just kind of like trying something. What was like Sophie's last line in her letter? Kind of
searching for something and you don't know what it is.
Yeah,
it's amazing. I think the whole point of the exhibition is like not that it's declaring anything. It is kind of like just exploring the search for something. There's no real answer at the end of the day, you know.
Like a city letting you go is like a beautiful thing if it can like welcome you back as well. Like a city like letting you go and leave and learn things, but then you holding on to this like love for it and wanting to come back, like a bit of a boomerang thing. but leaving isn't like a problem. I don't think leaving's a bad thing. I think leaving's actually a really good thing, but it is a bad thing if you want to go back and you can't go back. If there's something like stopping you there. Maybe like we've got to think as like a city or like a country, like are we like welcoming and encouraging people back? If we don't like, if there isn't a way that everyone feels like they can come back, then that could be a problem. Beautiful.
Perfect then.
Ciao, adios.
Ciao, chat.